Hello, everyone. Today I will continue the developments of episode 1143. Dr. Vegapunk sent a message. Saint J. Garcia Saturn summoned the four Gorosei to stop him. After the plan succeeded, Monkey D. Luffy immediately asked Vinsmoke Sanji to quickly take that apple-headed man out of here, no matter what he complained about. Saturn saw that the prey wanted to escape, so he chased after him, but Luffy blocked the way. He declared that he would not interfere with his plan, since he would never catch him anyway. After saying that, he patted his butt in defiance, making Saturn so angry that he could not bear it, so he attacked but could not do anything. On the other side, Dr. Vegapunk was trying to beg him to leave, but Sanji refused. Suddenly, Borsalino, Kizaru, appeared from somewhere in front, kicked Sanji away. Before Sanji's worry, Kizaru immediately used his ability to give Vegapunk a donut. Faced with this surprise, Luffy above shouted loudly, telling Sanji to run to the exit behind the island immediately. So Sanji immediately ran to take him away and silently apologized for not protecting him well. On the other side, seeing the target about to escape, Kizaru waited for a moment and then chased after him. But Luffy was now very angry, immediately transformed his body to become huge, appeared like a god, grabbed Kizaru with his right hand, and held Saturn's head with his left hand. He declared that with me here, there's no way you two can go anywhere. Behind, Sanji was in a panic as Vegapunk was about to die. Suddenly in the lab, his heart rate monitor went flat, which was also the moment he let go of his hand and left this world. Seeing that, Sanji tried to wake Vegapunk up because he couldn't understand why he was smiling after he died. Suddenly, a recording started playing. Vegapunk greeted and asked everyone around the world to pay attention. I am Dr. Vegapunk, the greatest and most humble genius scientist in the world. I know this message will shock everyone, but please be patient because what I am about to reveal to you is the truth about our world. Shaka suddenly reminded him that it was not good to say it right away, that he had to give everyone time to prepare their snails, so he should not broadcast it immediately. After listening, Vegapunk confirmed that when the news was released, only the next day, the media would broadcast it all over the world. Shaka did not think so, because if someone interfered or censored the message, all his efforts would be in vain. It sounded reasonable, so Vegapunk asked Shaka if he had any suggestions. Outside the shore, the Marines didn't know what this news was about because all the communication snails on the ship were broadcasting at the same time. It turned out that this was exactly what Shaka had suggested, using the strong communication network of the Marines as a relay station. Right now, even if the Marines cut off communication, it would still be broadcast normally without stopping. Sanji, who was holding Vegapunk's body, was curious about what was going on when he heard his voice. Sanji tried to shake him awake to ask if he had misheard, but he just lay there without answering. Old Saturn, who was still being led by Luffy, was very upset about this, wondering what Vegapunk would say. With the connection of the transmission line allowing news to be broadcasted uninterruptedly across the globe at maximum signal strength, anyone with a communication snail could receive this message and take some time to prepare their recording snails. Since the setup time depends on the area, Vegapunk set the interval time to 1 hour. Shaka felt that 1 hour was too long, so he suggested to see if anything happened during that time. When Usopp and Nami heard this, they thought that Vegapunk had acted recklessly while they were trying to save him. Edison immediately realized that Shaka's voice had been eliminated by York, so this was just a pre-recorded recording. He didn't know what his master was planning. Vegapunk had known that there were people who wouldn't be happy to hear this news and would try to destroy it before it was finished. So he reset the preparation time to 10 minutes. On the other side, Brogy and Dory were still searching for Luffy everywhere, while the Marines were following them like ants. I don't know what they were thinking, hiding in the bushes and planning to ambush these two legendary captains. Seeing that, both of them smiled and praised their recklessness in daring to scratch their itch. After the smoke cleared, Brogy and Dory appeared and launched attacks that sent everyone sprawling on the floor in a flash. As for Luffy, when he heard Vegapunk's voice, he thought that he was fine and now he just needed to deal with Kizaru and Saturn. At the Holy Land of Mary Schwaz, the 4 remaining 5 elders were extremely angry and asked Saturn if he had dealt with Vegapunk yet. What was the news about? Saturn quickly replied that he had seen Kizaru deliver the finishing blow with his own eyes, so Vegapunk was definitely dead. Warcury assumed that Vegapunk had installed a death switch so that the message could be sent when the main body was no longer alive. With so many possibilities, the 5 elders had no way of knowing what he would say. The 4 old men determined that the only suspicious location for this news could only be the experimental floor, but it was currently protected by a barrier. The other side still has 9 minutes left before the message is broadcast. So Vegapunk and Shaka decide to have a cup of coffee to relax. In the new world, Dressrosa, the people are extremely curious because they heard that Dr. Vegapunk is planning to reveal a shocking truth to the whole world. They start preparing a television snail to project it on the square for 10 minutes for everyone to see. At this time, Leo also goes to watch and is curious if Vegapunk is the person that Luffy kidnapped. Rebecca immediately explains because she knows that it is just some tabloid news that mocks Luffy. Looking at it, everyone knows that Vegapunk is voluntarily broadcasting it, so they are curious about the truth of the world that he is talking about. In Fuchsia Village, the people still don't know what all this is about because they think that the news is all nonsense about Luffy. The people wish that there would be a television snail in the village. But the mayor was upset because who would pay to buy it, just listening to the sound was enough. Over at Water 7, Mayor Iceberg called his secretary to prepare a broadcast for all the docks. He wanted to make sure that all the workers would gather in 10 minutes to see how shocking this event was. The scene changed to Big News Morgan's. He also didn't know what this news was about because it was broadcast on the Navy frequency but it was not encrypted. Nefertari Vivi saw it and was extremely worried and asked where Luffy and everyone were. However, Morgans looked closely at the clock behind him and discovered that this was not the current time of Egghead Island but a pre-recorded broadcast. He assumed that the Buster Call must have blown the island to ashes by now. Hearing this, Vivi was extremely sad, hoping that Luffy and everyone wouldn't die. At this time, in the West, North, and South Seas, every citizen was paying attention to this news from Vegapunk. They believed that a genius who lit up the world must have had a hard time revealing this shocking news. In the Revolutionary Army's rear, Emporio Ivankov is very curious about what Vegapunk is harboring that is more important than his own life. To explain this curiosity, Sabo immediately asks Monkey D. Dragon if Vegapunk really revealed the world's secrets. Suddenly, Dragon remembers what Shaka said, "I think he'll be gone soon, so I'll just keep quiet." Although the other side is temporarily safe, Jewelry Bonnie is still very worried about her father's condition. After traveling for a while, they finally arrived at the legendary ship Elbaf, which made Frankie extremely excited. The giants said that they would set sail as soon as the 2 captains returned. At this time, Bonnie is very worried, hoping that everyone and Dr. Vegapunk will be fine. The Gorosei were watching Vegapunk's message with their faces tense as strings. Returning to Luffy, he realized that his punches could not hurt the 2 old men. Suddenly, Kizaru used a laser beam from his eyes to attack, but Luffy dodged it. He declared that until the last moment, when all of his friends have not escaped from here, the 2 old men should not go anywhere. Luffy began to stretch his arm back and used the Dawn symbol to capture it, immediately creating 2 monkey and spider rice paper rolls. After that attack, Saturn and Kizaru were stunned and could not do anything. So Luffy began to spin the 2 rice cakes in his hands like street performers and threw them far out to sea. On the ship, the Marines discovered something flying towards them, not knowing that it was their Admiral Kizaru. Luffy saw that he had successfully thrown the 2 old men far away and laughed happily. But Saturn was stronger, so he turned around before falling into the sea, flying back, making Luffy extremely surprised. Unable to play against him, Luffy ran away, angry in his heart because he could not hurt this old man. On the other side, on the ship after the collision, the soldiers came to ask Kizaru what happened to fly here. But at this time, he could only put his hand on his forehead and lie still, thinking about his friend without saying a word. Meanwhile, Saturn was angrily following Luffy, but was urged by the 4 remaining old men because there was no more time for Vegapunk to talk nonsense. Saturn listened but remained silent and continued to chase Luffy because this kid had fed him too much chili. But then, when he felt that there was no more time, Saturn finally decided to use the dark summoning ritual to the Holy Land. When the magic circle appeared, the 4 old men slowly let each person step into it. Suddenly, at Egghead Island, terrifying black lightning columns began to emanate from the island, making the soldiers extremely scared. Inside, 4 giant columns of black smoke rose from the magic circles, shaking the place. Seeing this, Sanji stopped in shock, suddenly realizing that it was the same as when the old spider first appeared. That's the end of episode 1143. See you again every Monday morning on my channel. After watching, remember to like and subscribe to support me.